host, Coach Monica. I'm joined today by Coach Darcy, and we are here to guide you through the ins and outs of a lifestyle that's transformed not just our lives, but the lives of countless women navigating the waves of perimenopause and menopause. Whether you're here to shed weight, understand your body better, or simply find a community that gets it, you're in the right place. So sit back and enjoy the next few minutes as we tackle the hot issues of today. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're listening from. Hey, it's Coach Monica here.
And this is Coach Darcy.
How are we doing, Coach?
Just great.
Yeah, it's been a good day, been a good week so far. It's only Tuesday, so the jury is out for the rest of the day, but things are good. I just got back from working out. What have you been up to?
Well, that's a good question. That's a very loaded question. It's a day with the boys at home, and so yeah, it's all good. But they were motivated to clean, and because I said, "Hey, you're not allowed to have any screen time until you guys do this." So
that works.
Either that, or they think that I said that they were grounded today because they were not interested in being on the internet or anything at all today. So I don't know. Either way, it's been great.
Either way, you'll take it. Yeah. So we have to put a disclaimer out here for today's session. Today's session is going to be lighthearted, but it's going to be really serious because we've been, in 2 days, my keto anniversary is here.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy as it sounds, June the 12th. It will be amazing. 8 years since I've been living this lifestyle. And so my point in that is through this season, through this last decade, you and I have some statistics.
Yeah,
we have lived what we're talking about today.
Yes.
And here's our disclaimer, our full disclaimer, we are not naming any clients by name. If you happen to have the name we're talking about, just have fun with us.
Yeah.
All right.
I always feel
sorry for the Karens of the world and the Debbies and all of those that people just kind of given a personality to. We're going to do the same thing today. No Karens or Debbies, but we're going to talk about something that in lightheartedness. And by the way, if you are watching us live, this is a podcast that we're recording, but if you're watching us live and you know somebody in your life that is who they are, or you're experiencing that, we want you to drop it in the chat. You may want to change their names for your protection.
Don't name drop.
But I mean, we can't help what you do. We can't. I mean, we don't have any control over that, but we want to hear your stories. And if you're listening to this on podcast, we want to hear your story because we laugh about this, but this is the number one problem or the number one difficult thing that we deal with as coaches. Because when we get a client, and I did a couple of different interviews yesterday with some potential clients, and we hear the same thing every time. I try to start a diet. I get derailed. My uncle said this to me, or I went out to eat, and everybody has one of these in their life. And in fact, if you watch, and by the way, we are talking today about the things, the people in your life that sabotage your journey, or what's called enablers.
Mm-hmm.
And if you watch My 600-Pound Life, it's a daily show theme of enablers, constant people in their life that bring them food. Most of those people on My 600-Pound Life don't even go out and get their own food. They're supplied. In our clientele, we have what we're going to talk about today. Mm-hmm. And we may or may not picture in our minds these people. Sometimes they have faces because it's very frustrating. It's frustrating. Yeah. And by the way, if you are one of these, we want to help you change, because we want to help your friends and your family succeed, and they're not succeeding because of you. Mm-hmm. And Darcy is going to talk a little bit about, and I don't remember which one of these that you're going to talk about how the fact that we could have been one of those people in someone's life.
Yeah.
And so there are characteristics and there are distinct personalities that we come in contact with. And typically it happens, I think, maybe around the 3-month mark. Sometimes it's right away.
Mhm.
Some of these are right away, but some of these don't appear or we don't recognize them until it's too late and that person has done their job. So we're going to talk about 8. Again, please make this a very communicable podcast, a very communicable live. If you have struggled with this, drop it in the comments and share your story because we want to know where your struggles are. So, Darcy, do you want to kick us off and introduce us to a woman that is number 1 in all of these? By the way, there's not a number 1 to number, it's
No.
not a progressive.
No.
This is, if you've got one of these, you see their face. And here's
Yes.
the other thing. You may have a mixture of a couple of personalities. So
Yeah.
that's also what we want to hear. So we're going to keep this lighthearted. It's going to be a fun show today, but it's going to be a serious show because number 1, if you are one of these, stop it.
Mhm.
Number 2, if you have one of these, we're going to tell you how to deal with them. Okay?
Right. Because here's the facts is that, for Coach Darcy here, me, I had and tend to have some of these. I have to basically, shake it off, be like, hey, you're not being very helpful right now. So I'll share what mine was and my story behind that and how that was basically helped us identify these people, I think.
Yeah,
I found,
absolutely.
yeah. But the first one that we're going to talk about is Tammy the Temptress.
Tammy,
sorry if your name is Tammy. May not be a temptress, but I highly believe that names have
and
personalities behind them.
sometimes they're just fun. We want to get a point across,
Yes.
right?
Anyway, so we're going to talk about the personality of Tammy. Then we're going to talk about what she may sound like, and then instead of leaving it to the end, we're going to talk about how you can overcome Tammy. So were you about to say something?
I was going to say, make sure as we talk these through, make sure you leave comments and make sure you message us and give us your story. Do you have a Tammy? We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out. So Tammy the Temptress, she's charming, she's persuasive, and she's a bit sneaky. So Tammy loves to indulge and wants everybody to join in with her. She likes to have the cheat days.
She's the life of the party,
and
isn't
she's
she?
probably one that's always on a diet, but is looking for an excuse to have somebody.
I just picture her in a bar with just jewelry, and she's the life of the party.
Yeah.
People love Tammy.
Yeah, and she's friends with anyone who has she's sorry, she's the friend that has the cupcake tray. She's the one that goes around and says, "Hey, look at this! Look how delicious they look. They're from Germany."
Germany. You don't want to miss out, do you?
German chocolate, real German chocolate. But the thing here is the sabotaging tactics here is that offers high calorie treats with guilt tripping, with a smile.
Guilt tripping smile.
Yeah. Yep. And you don't want to miss out, do you? It's from Germany. You don't want to miss out on this.
You'll never see this again.
And then even though she may know that you are on a lifestyle change and you're trying to change your health, she downplays your goals. Oh, one cheat day won't hurt. It's one bite, one cheat day won't hurt. I do it all the time.
How many of you have heard that? One cheat day won't hurt. Drop that in the comments.
See, did you hear what I slid in there? I do it all the time.
You do it all the time?
One cheat day won't hurt. I do it all the time.
I do it all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you get that?
Yes.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
So then that person also plans events centered around unhealthy foods, and they are just all about these foods and oh, I'm bringing all of these delectable things, and
She's probably a great cook.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. But how to overcome Tammy? So you just, when you are there, when you're in her presence, you politely decline those treats and prepare for the excuse, and with a prepared excuse hey, thanks, but I'm sticking to my plan today. That's really hard to do, y'all.
Oh, that's hard. It's really hard.
Tammy
is charming.
Yeah.
I picture her with bracelets. I got a diamond sparkly bracelet. I just picture her with a lot of bracelets, a lot of perfume and lipstick, and she's just so cool. Just one
Yeah,
bite won't
I mean,
hurt.
putting
Come on, honey.
all of that imagery is helpful.
I mean, picture Tammy. You may have a guy Tammy,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep. But then you can suggest alternative activities like, hey, instead of
Mhm,
doing this, like, let's go for a walk,
mhm,
or let's do a healthy cooking night. You know, this to me is you're planting seeds.
mhm,
You're sticking up for yourself, but yet you're planting seeds. Surround yourself with other friends who also respect your goals so that
mhm.
they can back you up. It's good to have, the accountability people to say, hey, you don't need that. Don't let her talk
So
like that
bring
to
your
you.
friends to the
Yeah,
party
don't
with.
yeah.
And I
So,
probably have a feeling this one will probably go with all 8, but if Tammy, the temptress, does not respect you, you may have to put up some boundaries,
yeah.
and you may have to make some tough calls of not surrounding yourself with toxic people because Tammy is toxic.
Yeah.
And so you can try all of the things in the book. You can try all of thanks. I'm sticking my plan today. Oh, I'm choosing not. No, thank you. Simple no, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, works. No, thank you.
Word.
Um, but you may, if Tammy gets too in your face, you may have to just say, okay, I'm gonna have a hard conversation with you, Tammy, but I have to put up some boundaries, and if you cannot respect my boundaries of wanting to become a healthier person, we're gonna have to put some separation between us, and
Mhm.
that's the hardcore,
And the
you
biggest
don't
thing with that personality though is there's people out there like Tammy. There's one Tammy that is like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I wish, I'm just
Mhm.
really excited about food, blah blah blah." And then you've got the one that you have just emotionally damaged her life forever because you said
Mhm.
that. You have got to be able to prepare yourself for that
Yeah.
personality of like, "Oh, you just crushed my world.
Yeah.
And how dare you?"
Yeah.
I'm just trying to live happy
Yeah.
and
And one of
free
the
and
mandatory ingredients that you're going to have on all of these cases is you're going to have grit,
yeah.
which is why coaching is so important and why we are so successful as a coaching practice, because sometimes you can't do this by yourself.
Mhm.
And sometimes, I tell my clients, listen, use my name, put my name in the mud if you have to. Use me as the punching board for your friends. Like, hey, I paid my coach. I can't do that. Or,
Yeah.
you know, use the knowledge that I'm giving you, the science. And we're going to talk about that next, about what I'm giving you. So you blame the coach if you have to, right?
Yeah.
But that's why coaching is so important, because these people, we've got about 42 of them right now who are not alone. They've got, number one, they've got each other. And number two, they've got 2 coaches that they can call and say, "Hey, I'm struggling. She is unruly today," right?
Mm. Yeah. Yep.
So, ready for number 2?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I might have gotten the mean ones. Think. I don't know. I'm looking forward here in my notes. But we're gonna talk about Sammy. Sammy the skeptic. By the way, if you have one of these in your life, just drop a thumbs up. If you have a
Yeah.
Tammy in your life, just drop a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Sammy the skeptic. I think almost all of us have one of these. His personality says that, oh my gosh, I am cynical and I'm overly analytical. That person has studied, air quotes, studied everything already. And he doubts everyone's efforts because he knows it all and he thinks your plan is doomed. I had one of these the first 6 months of my journey. Only mine was a girl. Mine was a family member who thinks your plan is doomed. Some of Sammy's sabotaging tactics is he questions all your methods. So you come so psyched up from a coaching session. You are so empowered. You are ready to conquer the world. Your coach has infused courage in you. You go see Sammy and he says, "That diet never works. Why are you even going to try it?" And then he proceeds to tell you horror stories about weight loss fails and attempts of the diet that you've chosen, the lifestyle you've chosen, and he gives you the worst of the worst. Oh, that keto diet, that's going to kill you. You're going to have a heart attack by 6 months. And this one makes me angry, seething mad, because I see it more in my clients and their families than I do on all of these.
Mhm.
And he dismisses your progress. So you and this Sammy the skeptic can go right into the doctor's offices because the doctors are number one for this. Oh, you barely look different. And he dismisses. So you've just lost 20 pounds, and Sammy the skeptic says, "Oh, you barely look different."
You think that we haven't seen this, but we
Oh,
have.
we've seen
There
every one of these.
Oh my gosh.
Everyone, we're picturing them in our minds.
Yes, this happened to me actually when I first started my journey.
Oh, it's
And
maddening.
this was what got me into over-educating myself to the point where
Mhm.
I was so overwhelmed and I felt like I owed everybody an explanation of why
Yep.
I was doing what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I felt like I needed to have like well, doctors don't even know it, but
Yeah.
a specialist that has
Right.
studied this for years
Yeah.
type of definitions for them.
Yeah, they knock you off your rocker and they make
Yeah,
you second guess everything. You
you
could
feel
have lost
defeated.
60 pounds and you
Yep.
feel like a failure
Yep.
because Sammy the skeptic is so holier than thou and he knows what he's doing. When he says you barely look different, inside he's like, holy crap, she looks hot. That's what he's saying on the inside. On the outside, he's saying, you barely look different. You may have a cousin that's doing that. You may have a girlfriend. A lot of jealous girlfriends do that, right? And that really knocks you out. Again, how to beat him? You ignore him, right? You ignore her. You focus on your own research backed plan. That is why when we have a client who does not do our modules, because in our modules, in the curriculum, we teach you the science behind what we're doing. We don't just say, go to 20 carbs and give you no reason why. We tell you go to 20 carbs because that stops producing the insulin. And in the presence of insulin, you cannot lose weight. So my daughter-in-law just texted me and I have my phone on focus, but the one who was just in labor, who I have overriding all of the emergencies, was able to get through because I forgot to take her off emergency. So everybody has a Sammy. You have ran smack dab in the middle of Sammy and it makes you feel gross. It makes you feel little. It makes you feel invisible. So that's why we make our clients know the science. The ones who are successful can repeat back to me why being in ketosis is a good thing. Why, if you lose more than 2-3 pounds a week, you're going to gain it back. They can look us in the face and tell us why. So that is really, really important. That's how to beat them. You know the science. You know what you know, what you know, what you know. If you are a person of faith, we have to do the same thing. You have to know what you believe, why you believe it, and how you believe it. That's how you beat a Sammy the skeptic. And then you have to celebrate the small wins privately. Or this is another reason why our clients are so successful because every Monday night we gather together. All of our clients, we gather together in one room and we talk about our wins, our losses, and our celebrations. And those people leave that room energized and excited because they have been among supportive people.
Mhm.
And then again, we'll probably use the same one at the end of every person we're going to introduce is limit the conversation. Don't
Yeah,
even tell Sammy what you're doing.
you
If
don't owe
you
them.
you do not owe them anything. You
Mm-mm.
just do you. You keep your eyes on your goal and you don't look away. You don't even look at Sammy. You just do your thing. And again, you may need to get rid of Sammy the toxic person.
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing in my life, I can look back. I'm going on 6 years.
Mhm.
6 years from now or late past, like I had that person being so negative. Had I listened to that person saying, "Oh,
Mhm.
you're just going to die off of that
Yeah.
that keto diet. You don't
Yeah.
even know what you're doing." And then 6 years later, and I'm running laps around them. I'm like, I'm good. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Everything's great." So,
Exactly. And there's a stage to all of this because all of our clients will have one of these people in their life and
yeah.
there's a stage for each of these people in your life and that's why it's so important to know who they are and be able to identify. Sometimes just
Yeah.
knowing their name and putting them in this category and it'll be easier for you to toss off,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
But if you don't know them, they could come and they could be a slinger and they could knock you out because you've got to be questioning yourself and everything you do.
Yeah.
I didn't get all the negative ones. So you are up next with this next one.
I
This one
did.
is one of my
So
favorite and one of the most annoying of the
and this
groups.
one this one can go in two different ways. As I'm looking at. Judy the Judger.
Judy the
Judy the
Judger.
Judger. Oh, Judy. She's prim, critical, quick to point fingers. Judy acts like she's the guardian of perfection, and she loves to shame others to feel superior. And this is the person that just is like in the let's use keto as an example, because that's what we do.
Mhm.
Go
Yeah.
figure. But those are the people that are like they're going back to the old school keto world, like of what you can and cannot have.
Mhm.
They're like, oh, well, you shouldn't have this. It's not
Mhm.
keto. Or,
Yeah.
they just are all knowing about keto. And what we have
Mhm.
learned over the years, coaching, is that it is not a one size fits all.
No.
So when you are focused on your own journey and you've collected your own data on yourself, you should know a lot about how your body works. Now, Judy should not know about how your body works. She should only
Mhm.
be working about her own,
Mhm.
and on her own journey.
So
But
these let me understand what you're saying, Darcy.
yeah,
These there could be 2 sides of Judy.
yes,
There could be the keto Judy,
yes,
where she becomes the keto police,
yes,
and then
yep,
the other side of that
yes.
is the judger of keto, correct?
Yes, the one
Yeah.
who judges keto or carnivore
Mhm.
or a healthy eating lifestyle, that's against the standard American diet,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But her sabotaging tactics, she comments on your food choices. Are you sure you should eat that?
Mhm.
In some cases, that's a lot of food.
Mhm.
um,
Yes. You're eating a
You're
lot.
eating
That's a
all
lot
of
of
that.
salt.
I can't eat all of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's way too much for me to eat, and that
Mhm.
makes you feel guilty because you have a plate full of food that's healthy versus her little
Mhm.
tiny little bits that she's leaving
Yeah.
hungry an hour later,
Yeah.
and she's gonna eat in private because she's starving.
Uh-huh.
Anyway,
Yeah.
comments.
Oh,
So,
that's not clean enough. There's
yeah,
maltodextrin in that. And
yeah.
do we tell our clients
Oh my
about
gosh.
maltodextrin? And
We absolutely do.
do we tell them, when you can stay away from these because they could be
Mhm.
a staller, right, of your weight loss journey. So yeah,
Yeah,
we give them the facts. And Judy probably is right a lot
yeah,
of the times when she's judging your perfection in the keto lifestyle or the carnivore.
yeah.
Those carnivore people, those are even
They're
whoo,
worse.
boy,
Yeah,
there's a lot of men, I
yeah.
think, and they don't even care. They're just mean.
Yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, we tell the clients about, and we had to drop LMNT because, they put maltodextrin in. Are we going to judge a client who has an LMNT packet? No,
No.
we're not.
No, but we have informed them enough to know they can make their own choice.
Yeah.
And we'll know, like, hey, if there is a moment where you are super stalled, we may ask for you to, like, to
Mhm.
not have the LMNT and see if that's the problem.
Yeah.
Process of elimination. That's what we
Right.
like to do. But if that does not end up being the problem, then that's their choice
Mhm.
initially, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
totally.
but the other thing that Judy likes, her response to you is, she um she gives unsolicited advice with
Mhm.
a condescending tone.
Yeah.
Just you
Yeah.
can tell, like, she might say, "Oh, I don't care what you eat," but then
Yeah.
you can tell by her tone that, oh, she's judging me
Yeah.
100%.
Right.
She highlights your slip ups to make you feel guilty. Like, see, I told you not to do that. That's
Mhm.
why. I remember that one time I told you that that was the problem. That
Mhm.
I told you that,
Yeah.
and they are all. She's just all knowing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so how do you overcome Judy the Judger? You respond confidently. I'm happy with my choices. You're going to see a theme here. I'm happy
Mhm.
with my choices. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was simple.
Know what you know what you know.
Yeah. You
Right.
set boundaries.
Yeah.
Again, you tell her that your weight loss is off limits for discussion. Like,
Yeah.
I did not ask you for your opinion.
Yeah.
This
If
is
I
off
ask
limits.
you, I'm going to pick up the phone, I'm gonna call you, and I'm gonna ask you specific
Right.
questions, but
Yeah. I'll
until
say,
then,
hey, Judy.
sorry, Judy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
focus on your own standards, not
Yeah.
hers. You've got to know your journey well enough. Like,
Mhm.
don't do where I overwhelmed myself with all the book knowledge possible all up front, that I got super overwhelmed and
Mhm.
emotional. Just focus on your own standards. Like, don't
Yeah.
worry about what other people's standards are.
Yeah.
Work on yourself.
Keep your eye on the
That
prize.
is the biggest thing when living a new lifestyle is knowing yourself and collecting your data on who you
Yeah.
are, because
Yeah.
you're the only one that you can control. You
Mind your
think.
own business.
Mind your own business.
I
You
used to use that in
are
my daycare a lot. Mind your own
nobody
business.
is nobody is in your mind. They can't be in your mind. So you have your own standards.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, the final cap on that, you may have to remove toxic people. We'll talk at the end about how to do that because some of you are like, Monica, I understand, but number one, we can't get rid of our husbands, right? Number two, we're going to be family members,
Yes.
that kind of thing. But we'll talk at the end a little bit about what it means to get rid of toxic
Yeah.
people in your life.
So, Coach, our next one is I have an Eddie in my life.
You
Do you
have
have
an
it?
Eddie?
I have an Eddie in
Are you
my
going to give
life.
us the name?
Well, no, it's your job.
Eddie really irritates me.
Oh my gosh.
I picture Eddie in the basement of his mom's house, and he's a keyboard warrior, and all
That's
he's
not my Eddie.
doing is oh, he's not?
Nope.
Okay. All right. You got to just describe your Eddie here. But Eddie the expert. And this one, nobody gets a pass
Oh,
because
no.
when you go public, and here's the thing. Some of the answers to this is just be quiet, do your thing, work with your coach quietly. You've got a support group, just keep your head down, eye on the ball. That's one tactic, and I support that tactic. The other tactic, and the only way that worked for me because I was a public figure and because I had failed and done so many yo-yo diets, I had to go public with my journey. So sometimes if you take that tactic and you go public, which works by the way, people your accountability, if you are saying you're a keto and you post a picture of yourself on Facebook with a donut, those people that you have said hold me accountable, they're going to be down your throat, right? So there's benefits of both.
Yeah.
I believe. But Eddie the expert, he is overconfident. He is a self-proclaimed guru. He thinks he knows everything about fitness and nutrition. She thinks she knows we can make this about a girl too, right?
Mhm.
They think they know everything about fitness and nutrition, even if he learned this back in the 80s. I've got one person right now who does not understand the impact of salt to your body. This person's a nurse, doesn't understand, was not taught the importance of electrolytes and minerals in your body. And so any salt, when I say take a 4th teaspoon of pink salt, put that in your body, this person's head explodes because she was trained back in the 70s when salt was bad, right?
Yeah.
Now, iodine salt, the table salt, first ingredient in that is sugar. So yeah, but this person thinks they know everything about everything and they are not changing because they were trained in the 70s and this is the way it is. Don't get me started on cholesterol numbers and what those numbers mean and the heart, all of these things, right? Eddie the expert is all over the scale. He comes from doctors to aunts to grandmas he's all over. He pushes fad diets or extreme workouts. So in the same breath of you living a nice ketogenic lifestyle, he is over here pushing extreme fad sugar diets, or you have to try this cleanse. This juicer is the best thing ever. He is on the front lines pushing the crazy stuff while telling you who are eating whole foods, you're nuts, right? He contradicts your plans. There's always a better plan. I'm air quoting for our podcasters. Better idea over here, and he confuses your mind. He's like, well, you leave a conversation with Eddie the expert and you're like, do I know what I'm doing? We had a time in our practice where we started to drift a little bit away because we had Eddie the expert health coaches out there telling us, well, what about this? What about the intermittent fasting? What about fasting 5 days? What about this? What about that? And I just started to change my macro formula because somebody told me how to do it the mathematically correct way. Well, I moved a little bit over to that way. Our clients weren't losing weight. I'm like, what's wrong? Well, because I became overeducated and I went away from the thing that works. I knew what worked.
Yeah.
I knew what worked and we went away from it.
Yep.
Oh, we're back to what works. Brags about his own very exaggerated success. and belittles yours. You all have, probably every single one of our listeners has an Eddie the expert in their life. It derails a lot, especially if your Eddie the expert is a doctor who was never trained on nutrition. We have nearly lost, and thank goodness we have a success story with this last one, with a doctor who said, oh, you are going to kill yourself, lost 100 pounds, wanted the client to regain more of that weight back because they wanted to put her on a sugar diet. Thankfully, we got a hold of her right before she went to flip over. And so sometimes Eddie the expert can be a doctor with no nutrition degree.
Yep.
How to beat him.
That's one of them. That's one of my Eddies.
Yeah.
The
so
doctor,
before we talk about how to beat him, what does your Eddie look like?
My Eddie, lives in the fitness world.
Oh, yes.
That it's not in the fitness world. Actually, a lot of those people that I go into the gym, I look in the trash. I don't look in the trash can on purpose. I don't go like snooping through it.
Yeah.
But between the the Tootsie Rolls that are out on the counter for people, and all of the energy drinks, and it's probably one of the unhealthiest places that people are trying to get healthy.
Yeah. Oh,
But
you
yet
need more
they have,
carbs. You need
but
carbs.
they said, "Oh, we need carbs." Well, then they still have a dad gut. Like, so how is that working out for you? You still have a dad gut, and you're working out in the gym, and you're giving me advice saying I need carbs.
Well, yeah, we might be a Judy the Judger.
I might be.
We might cross over when Eddie gets involved.
We never disclosed or said that we were not one of these.
No.
It's hard not to be.
It's very.
But we have to identify it, and I identify it a lot of like. When I'm judging the other world, I'm like, you know what? You just need to stay the course. You need to just keep going what you're doing, being the coach that you are, and not let these things be
so true. And
affecting
it's like,
you.
Cancer offices that make me crazy.
Oh my
All the
gosh.
cancer offices have bowls of candy out. Okay, let's feed the cancer that you're trying to get rid of in your patients. It's just
that and the Coca-Cola, and like they are still drinking because it's probably the only thing they can taste anymore because they have damaged their taste buds, but they're drinking. Oh my
it is.
That one grinds my gears.
And probably with Benny, with Eddie.
No, Eddie.
I just gave a sneak peek of who's next. There's not a lot you can say to these guys because their book knowledge. I mean, they're just gonna throw it up in your face. There's really not. You could just walk away.
The thing with Eddie though is that Eddie does not have any consistency.
No.
Eddie likes to like you said, pushes those bad diets because his way and his mindset is not working.
Right.
So he goes on, or
he knows
she
he
goes
has a
on.
Gut. He knows. Yeah.
So the excuses still ring in his head.
Right.
And he still listens to the outside world saying, "Oh, you still need carbs." Or that bodybuilder that, saying, "Hey, you still need these carbs to get gains and all this sort." Yeah.
Right.
No.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway.
Just stick to the evidence, and you don't have to engage. You don't have to engage Eddie, because really there's nothing that you could do to throw at him that would make him change, because if it's in writing somewhere on the interwebs, it must be true, right?
Yeah.
Even if he's sitting there with a gut telling you that.
Yep.
And Eddie thrives on arguing. You ever meet those people? They just thrive on arguing.
They get louder.
When you argue, if you were a client of mine and you had an Eddie in your life, I'm going to tell you, walk away. Not because I don't want him to hurt your feelings, but because he will spike your cortisol. Cortisol turns to glucose and spikes your insulin. In the presence of insulin, you can't lose weight. So Eddie's stressing you out, spiking your cortisol.
Yeah.
I want you away from Eddie. I don't want Eddie in your life at all because he's giving you cortisol. So just avoid debating him. He thrives on arguing. Let him go argue with himself in the mirror. He can go to the mirror in the gym and argue with himself in there, because you, once again, have your eye on the ball. You know what you know, right?
Well, did you talk about how to overcome that Eddie? Just now
I said walk away. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, do you have another way to handle Eddie?
Oh, well, it goes alongside with the other ones. Like, you can just voice your words by saying, "I'm working on something that suits me."
Yeah.
Like, this is gonna work for me. This is
Yeah.
not you.
Yeah.
This is my body,
Yep.
and I'm going to do this.
Mhm.
Especially if you have been living this lifestyle and you have seen and felt the results, you
Yeah.
know that this is what works best for you.
Yeah.
So you can just say that or not say it. You
Yeah.
have the choice to give them
You
the
have the
benefit of
power.
doubt
The
or not.
power is yours.
Yeah.
He's the one that looks like a fool. You do
Yeah.
not. Keep your
Yes.
head to the ground. This
So,
next one is gonna be in 2 different forms. So this
okay.
next one, Benny the bully.
Mhm.
We've all seen him. All I think everybody's experienced him, but we're gonna talk about Benny at the gym versus Benny that you live with.
Yeah. Well, so Benny at the gym kind of like represents, who Eddie. They
Mhm.
kind of go hand in
They
hand.
do.
They're
He and Eddie,
just
they're
the
best friends, BFFs.
the common factor here is that they're very insecure. Like, that's the
Yeah.
common factor. They
Yeah.
need to voice their opinion, be loud,
Yeah.
aggressive, have like the dominant stance
Mhm.
about themselves to um feel like they are seen and heard,
They thrive
because
on
they
intimidation.
are so insecure.
Yeah.
Benny has his own insecurities that he's masking,
Mhm.
but he wants somebody to be like, "Oh, well, you are so smart, you're so intelligent." He or she needs that. They need that confirmation that people see them as wise.
Yeah.
And he thrives on just the intimidation
Yeah.
of, overpowering the conversation.
Yep.
And usually it's loud. And I've
Uh-huh.
had that conversation and
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not okay with
No.
this.
No.
I'm fine.
And by
But
the way, with both Benny and Eddie, if they are bullying you at the gym, please make sure you let the owners know, the people in charge know, because
Mhm.
you do not have to take bullying or you don't have to take an
Yeah.
expert in your face all the time at the gym. You can go there in peace, right?
Yeah.
So
And the
keep that in mind.
Benny at home, by golly, that one's a
There's a lot of
challenging.
these. There's
There's
a
a
lot of
lot of
these.
these. That person that lives with you that maybe they're on their own personal journey and
Mhm.
it's working for them, and you have
Mhm.
tried your hardest to do what they do because they're overwhelming.
Yeah.
They're aggressive. They feel like they are all knowing,
Mhm.
even though they are insecure. They
Yeah.
are like constantly making jokes or
Mhm.
constantly nagging at you or
You know,
constantly.
if you just worked out more, you
Yeah,
could get rid of that belly.
right, or
You're
like
not walking enough.
like making cruel jokes about
Yeah.
your weights or efforts, like, "Oh, and you're still trying that? Like,
Yeah.
you're not I'm losing so much faster than you, or I
Yeah.
am look at what I'm doing and I look
Look at
great.
me. Yeah.
Look at what I'm doing." Um there's like challenges you to unhealthy competitions, like
Mhm.
eating contests, like, see how much I can eat of this and I'm not even going to gain anything.
Yes.
But they're at
Yes.
home doing this. This is not even at the gym. That they're
Yeah.
at home doing this to you when they also want to see you fit. They
Yeah.
also want you to be healthy as they are, but they are pushing their way on you that's not working.
Yep.
They and which all in the
Uneducated.
end creates a very hostile environment. It makes you
Mhm.
not want to be around that person. Usually, it makes that person who's trying to lose the weight defiant
Yeah.
and do the
Do
opposite
the
and
opposite
go
exactly.
hide. Now they're starting to be form even worse eating disorders
Yeah.
where they're hiding in the closet eating because they're
Yeah.
being
Because they
afraid
live
of
with
this
Benny the
person
bully. Yeah.
that is going to be judging them and
Yeah.
be making jokes about what they're
Mhm.
doing and saying, "Oh, you're not doing that right. Why don't you just get out and move more? Why don't you just go outside and
Yeah.
walk? And you're just so lazy. You should be like me and go to the gym and have a routine."
Mhm.
That's a bully.
Yes.
That is a hostile environment, and that this is how you overcome
Yeah.
the bully. Is you don't engage, you walk away or change the subject.
Mhm.
I know it sounds simple. It sounds like, "Oh, that's not going to do anything because they're going to
Yeah.
keep coming at me," but they want to see you have a flare up in your
Mhm.
emotions. They want to see you feel defeated. They want
Mhm.
to see your diet, your lifestyle, your choices fail. That's
Bullies
what they're seeking.
bullies thrive off of your failure.
Yeah.
So if that's the long-term intent, then you know exactly what that person is doing when they come at you.
Yeah.
And this
And
is why Coach Darcy and I highly recommend mental health counseling. on any journey, not just because your body's changing, but because some of us live with a bully. It doesn't it's not a man or a woman thing. We're joking with names today, but this is both sides. We can
Yes.
have really nagging wives who say, "Well, why are you eating that?" So it's not a sex thing. We recommend individual counseling. At the end of the day, you probably will need, if you are living with a bully, you'll probably need marriage counseling, not at first. I do not ever recommend a woman getting counseling, marriage counseling first, because she's got to find herself. She has got to get to be okay with herself in her head before she can face the demons of marriage counseling and the hard that they're going to have to go through for that. And in order to do that, you have to find a counselor who understands nutrition or supports nutritional counseling, because you can have a counselor and a therapist completely ruin you
Yeah.
if they don't understand that we're not intuitive eating, that we are getting our identity back. And so Benny the Bully, I recommend counseling on all of these, right? You
Yes.
need counseling. It's just healthy. But for this, I recommend starting counseling by yourself first, because you got to know who you are.
Right.
You got to find yourself.
Well, so some other things is, I was thinking of the person that maybe you're deciding to diet with in the household.
Mhm.
Maybe you two are doing the same thing, the same program. Like say, hey, a couple comes into one of our programs. We've seen this where one person is losing faster than the other. Then it becomes this competition.
Mhm.
Then this becomes defeating to the person
Yeah.
that's not losing as fast. So my biggest thing when it comes to that is you need to be aware of, yes, you can be excited about your own journey and about you
Mhm.
losing the weight and it's losing quickly. And if you're doing the things, that's what your body's doing.
Mhm.
That's exciting.
Mhm.
But also be super supportive of this other person that may
Yeah.
not be losing as fast, because we have done this for so long.
Mhm.
We know that everybody's body works so differently. It can be, and that's why it's not a one size fits all
Mhm.
program.
Right.
But the biggest thing is to building a support network, that is why I love our group,
Mhm. Yeah.
because when we are able to go to the group and say, hey,
Mhm.
this is what's happening in my situation. I just need, a boost of confidence
Mhm.
because I am feeling like I
I'm
am
alone.
drowning
Yeah.
and this person is nagging me in the ears and I don't know what to say. So not
Mhm.
only is that going to connect with somebody else in the group that may have had that similar experience,
Mhm.
to be able to say, hey, this is what worked for me. It
Yeah.
might not work for you, but this is what worked for me. This is what I had to say and do. That is the importance of our accountability group, is
Mhm.
because we are able to come together and be like, hey, ignore that person.
Mhm.
You do not throw your pearls before the swine,
Right.
that sort of thing. So,
Yeah.
when it comes to the bullies in your household, the bullies in the gyms, the bullies that are even in your workspace, you need to know who you are,
Mhm.
why, what, hence the, if you need the counseling that Coach Monica talks about, or just doing some self reflecting, those sort of things. That's why we advocate for body, mind, and spirit, not just focusing on losing weight, but you need to focus on all of those pillars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a cute one next, and then you get Vinny. But I have a cute one, and I want you to imagine your grandma, Lila the enabler. She's sweet. She's overly nurturing. She does not like conflict, and she wants to see everyone feel included, even if it means you just having a little cheat. She encourages just one indulgence to keep the peace. Oh, honey, I made this just for you. She avoids supporting your discipline because she feels like you're neglected and it feels mean. Okay. Does anybody have one of those grandmas? Aunt Sally's. This is Lila the enabler. And she loves to throw food parties. She loves food heavy events, but she does not consider your goals because she knows she can speak into you and you're gonna cave. You got to be tough with Lila. You've got to be tough with grandma. It's okay to do that. Just gently explain, I appreciate it, but I am focusing on getting healthy. I'm focusing on goals, but thank you very much. And you could offer to bring your own healthy dish. One of the secrets that I have if you're not a food addict is to put Lila's food on your plate, cut it up, and spread it around your plate. If you have the courage and if you have the capability of throwing it away, then Lila thinks that it's on your plate and you've kind of kept the peace a little bit. But Lila is sweet. It really is probably the most dangerous one of all of these where our clients fail because we don't want to hurt Lila, right?
Mhm.
And just redirect her. Always redirect her to kindness with non-food activities. Give her a movie night. Go have a slumber party at grandma's. Do whatever you need to do, but avoid it. This one is the sneaky one because we love Grandma Lila.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
love her.
Yeah.
We got 2 more to talk about
Yes.
here.
So, Vinny the victim, by golly, I have gotten that. Yes. Anyway,
You
so
do. You've got
the
the tough ones.
personality of Vinny is whiny, self-pitying, clingy, feels threatened by your progress, and tries to keep you stuck with him. Like,
Mhm.
that kind of ties in with the bully in a way,
Mhm.
where they're playing the victim, but they're also kind of bullying you into holding you back on where you're going. By you know, if you're losing the weight faster, I
Mhm.
just can't. I've got all these. Oh, hold on, I had a flash to a moment of like Vinny is one that it seems like they have they're hype. What is that when they have everything wrong with them? What is that
Mhm.
when they are
Oh, hypochondriac? Yeah.
hypochondriacs? So, I've got this, I can't, like, or I, I'm just hearing him in my head. Anyway,
Uh-huh.
but he doesn't want you to be able to be successful.
Right.
He wants to be successful first in a way.
Sometimes Vinny is overweight himself
Oh yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
jealous.
Yes. So sabotaging tactics that Vinny would maybe say is, he guilt trips you. If you get fit, you won't hang out with me anymore.
Mm.
So that person enjoys possibly being overweight or
Mhm.
not motivated to lose the weight yet.
Mhm.
They want to be able to go to those bars and have all the fried foods, and so they're worried that they're going to lose a friend because you
Mhm.
aren't going to be joining in on with them. Um Benny complains about his own struggles to divert your focus. So
Yeah.
again, like, oh, well, I've got this disease that the doctors said I might have, and so that's probably why I can't do this. And just fill in the blank. That
Mhm.
they're playing the victim all the time. They have something worse than you do all the time.
Mhm.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
you have one bruise, I have 50 bruises.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This was a
Um,
painful podcast
I
to
know
do.
it is. Sabotages group efforts by
Mhm.
refusing to join healthy activities.
Yeah.
Oh my word. Hold on a second.
Oh
Hold on a
yeah.
second. So, Mm, yeah. So this is the person that, typically also is like, "Oh, I don't like any of those things."
Uh-huh.
I can't eat all of those things. Like, I can't eat what you do because I just don't like it, or I can only eat, hot dogs
Mhm.
because that's the only thing I can eat. They just then don't want to join in on like going to another healthier place because they don't have hot dogs.
Mhm.
So, you know, oh, Vinny.
Vinny
Anyway,
is in all of our lives. It really is, and you would think, a lot of this is you've got overweight family. This is a big one. When somebody wants to break out of the cycle of obesity that their family has
yeah.
brought them, and they are doing things to change their life, and their family feels left behind. They feel and they just try to sabotage,
Yeah.
literally by feeding them.
Yep.
And always playing the victim, but it
Yeah.
looks sad, like they're helpless, but it is a vindictive thing. It's
Yeah.
it's based around jealousy.
I think a lot of people tend to utilize these chronic illnesses that they've developed over
Mhm.
time
Yeah.
as these major excuses of why they can't.
Mhm.
Oh, well, my doctor said I can't do that
Right.
because I have this ailment and I need to be on this medication, when in
Mhm.
all reality, if we're talking type 2 diabetes, then eating healthier would reverse that.
Right.
Or by finding the root reason of why you have this chronic illness
Mhm.
by what you are choosing to eat, would help you turn your
Mhm.
life around.
Right.
They are not willing because the doctors are kind of holding them down with
Yes.
these medications. They are playing the victim of,
"Oh, I'm
"Oh,
insulin resistant,
yeah, I
coach. I mean,
can't.
there's nothing I can do. I'm insulin
There's
resistant."
nothing." Nope. So, when you have a victim in your world,
Mhm.
just reassure them that your goals won't end your friendship. You're
Mhm.
gonna still love them for who they are.
Yeah.
But you're gonna stay firm with what your choices are because you know that this is best for you.
Yeah.
And then you limit the time spent with Vinny. If they're
Mhm.
like drowning you in woe is me and it's just negative all the time, limit how much time you spend with them because you want to focus on joy. You want to focus on a healthy lifestyle because that's exactly what keto is helping your brain do. It's giving you this
Mhm.
clarity and this joy and this happiness.
Yeah.
And you've got somebody that's wanting to keep holding you down because they want you to feel sorry for them.
Mhm.
And then focus on your own progress and avoid getting stuck into the drama. So, again, that kind of goes hand in hand with limiting the time with them, but also, avoid getting like, don't don't let those dramatic moments, don't feed into those.
Mhm.
Change the subject. I love the changing the subject thing. Like, oh, let's talk about like my dog, what they did that was really cute the other day.
Mhm.
Because it just
Squirrel.
drags you down. It drags you down. It makes your emotions just, I mean, I'm sure that spikes your cortisol too,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So, what's this
Yeah.
last one that we have, coach?
This last one we have, we're gonna land this plane, and Clara is really good friends with our first Tammy. Clara and Tammy are BFFs, right? So sometimes you have a hard time being able to discern who's Tammy and who's Clara. Clara likes to compare. She is competitive. She's obsessed with status. She measures everyone against herself. She is all that in a bag of chips. She cannot stand others succeeding where she struggles. So she's the life of the party. She's up there in status. She her sabotaging tactics, she brags about her own progress by making you feel inferior. If you lost 10 pounds, Clara has lost 20 already. She's always better than you are. She points out where others are doing better just to discourage you. It's a passive aggressive Clara. She subtly undermines your achievements. Oh, that's good for a beginner, right? So she's always giving you. She's passive aggressive and very, very, very dangerous because she could make you feel like nothing. Again, how to beat her. You focus on your goals. Do you see a theme here? If you don't know why you believe what you believe, if you are not feeling amazing about your journey, if you don't know the whys, you're going to fall for one of these guys.
Mhm.
You got to know why you believe what you believe. And you also have to have the courage to be tough and have tough conversations. You have to know your why so much that it doesn't matter if you hurt Clara, if you beat Vinny up, it doesn't matter because your goals are top of the line, right? You got to be focused on your personal goals, your why, not based on anybody else. You have got to. I see. We live in Amish territory, so we up here in the north always see Amish buggies and horses. And horses have this thing when they're on the road, and they're on Highway 20 out there. They have this thing on their eyeballs. They call them blinders. They're little pieces of leather that they put around their eye on the horse's eyes so he can only see in front of him. That's what you have to do. You have to put blinders on, focus on only your support group, your coach, and your goals. That's the only thing that matters. And sometimes that's hard, especially when it comes to marriage. If you live with an enabler and you live with a bully, it's very, very hard. That's why you need a coach more than ever. That's why you have got to, or you will fail every single time
Mhm.
because that bully, that comparer, that victim, that enabler, the expert, the judger, the skeptic, the temptress, all of those people will derail you if you do not have your eyes fixed on the prize. And sometimes that means putting distance between yourself and the bullies and the abusers around you.
Mhm.
Now, I'm not a big one into to the walk away from people because it's hard. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about protecting your spirit, protecting your mind, protecting your body from toxic people. Because at the end of the day, you're doing this to live. You're getting healthy to live. You're reversing your diabetes to live. You're doing all of this for a purpose. And when you're surrounded by enablers and surrounded by all of these people, you have got to have a support network. I always ask myself, Darcy, when I was helping a lot of people before I became licensed and before I started my company, I'm like, why? Why would I become a coach? Why would people pay me to do this business? Number one, I love it. Why would I want people to pay me? Because I'm helping them. And then it hit me as I began to work with my first set of clients. I realized everybody had an enabler, and anybody can find how to do anything online. You can find that for free.
Mhm.
You can find your macros online for free. What you can't find for free is a support network. Maybe you can find it for free, but what you
Yeah.
can't find, you can't Google support network and feel that support. You can't connect with a coach, a group of friends who align with your goals. You've got to be able to do that in order to be successful if you have any of these characters in your life.
Yeah.
And you've got to practice self compassion. You've got to remind yourself that slip ups do not define you. You focus on progress, not perfection. If you are focusing on progress and you see your end goal, you're not going to let any of these people ruin your lifestyle. You got to stay
Yeah.
consistent. What was it you said in group, coach? You had said something about a lifestyle and a diet. Do you remember what you said to our weight loss support group? It
Hold
was
on.
beautiful.
Let me
You wrote
let
it
me
down. You
let
took
me
it
go to
from a
my I
podcaster,
did.
didn't you?
It was actually it was not a podcaster. It was a doctor that is a specialist in lymphedema and
Okay, gotcha.
lipedema. And he had said the best way to gain weight, is this what you're talking about?
Yeah,
The best way to gain weight is to go on a diet and then get off of it. Is that
and
what
then
you were
get
talking
off of
about?
it. Yeah,
Yeah. So that's that cycle. Like that's if
yeah.
you are going into a lifestyle change and it's a
Mhm.
diet, you're just playing on.
Or you listen to one of these
Yeah.
bullies. You listen to
Yeah.
one of these enablers in your life, and then it becomes a cycle. And again, you'll be going around and around until you say enough is enough,
Mhm.
and I am done. I'm done being controlled, and I'm done being led by all of these characters.
Yeah.
Um, Clara, the comparer. I'm putting the notes in our
Yes.
show notes.
I would
Pair.
say, in my world, I was the jealous one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we didn't have a jealousy one.
I think it's embedded
Um,
in all of
and
these.
all of them, they all seemed jealous. But
Yeah.
when Coach Monica was going on her journey, and I knew that I needed to lose the weight and I needed to focus on what I was doing to get healthy because I had my enough moment. We had our enough moment about the same time, but whatever you were doing was working,
Mm-hmm.
and mine was spending a lot of money. And I think at first it was about a competitive between the companies that we were using at
Mm-hmm.
first. And there was this
Yep.
jealousy that was happening like, well, I don't want to switch over to that person's because or her company
Mm-hmm.
because it's not like mine.
Mm-hmm.
And so this jealousy was forming, and what happened behind closed doors that Monica didn't even know about until I told her about it was she would go to our family texting group and she'd be, excited. She'd be, oh, I'm in a size 8 now, or she kept get us updated on her progress, and mom and dad be like, oh, we're so proud of you and blah blah blah. And it would be like, hey, I lost 10 pounds, like but I was feeling jealous because she was losing and it was rapid.
Mhm.
And there is more things that would happen, but I would go to our other sister and I would just vent. I'm like, I can't believe this. She's so, so annoying. Like how excited she and happy she is. Like now that I go back and I revisit the words that I said to my other sister. I'm like, that you're such a dope. By
Mhm.
by golly, you were just, you were jealous of her success, and you you were just awful.
Yeah.
I never did it to Monica's face.
Never. That's why we're
Never.
friends.
That's
Yeah.
why we're still friends.
Well, it just goes to
But
show that there's some of this in everybody, in every one
yeah.
of us. So we need to have compassion for those people who
Yeah.
are on a journey, even if we don't agree with it. You know, the people that are
Yeah.
on the weight loss shot, have compassion for them because I feel where they've been.
Yeah.
I just hurt because I want success so badly for people and I want them to keep the success. And so I think it's a good reflection for all of us, whether you are
Mhm.
being bullied, whether you're being
The
influenced,
bully.
or whether you are the bully. And by
Yeah.
the way, if you are the bully and you are one of these people,
Stop it.
it's very simple. Just stop it. As Bob Newhart
Just
says,
stop it.
just stop it.
Yeah.
Be
Yeah.
there and support your friend. Be there and support, and be there if they fall, if they need help. And if you are on one of these journeys and you are alone, make sure you reach out to us. That's why we coach. Again,
Mhm.
you could find anything you want online for free, right? What you can't find is the support.
Yep.
So our website is kmhealthcoaching.org. We recommend that you set up a consult with us first. Each coach has their own calendar, so you just go find the coach. You set up a free session with a coach. We walk you through it, and if you have found yourself, we would love to hear your story. This one is one that I hope people write to us. Sometimes I hope people don't write to us because we have a bunch of opinions that people don't agree with. But I hope you write to us and
Yes.
talk about your enabler. What does it feel like? And again, you can find our podcast at beyondthescale.org. Beyond the Scale. Nope, that
Nope.
is not it. That's a
That is not.
really great website. I don't know where
We
it'll
might
take
need
you.
to make one.
But find our podcast, Beyond the Scale Weight Loss and Wellness, on all the podcast listening
Yeah.
stations. And again, we want to hear from you. What impacted you the most during the session today? We are just at 1 hour. This is probably the longest one we've done, but it was a fun one. It was a fun one. We love talking about this. We are here every Tuesday morning live on all of our social media platforms, and as well as this will be aired on a podcast in a couple of weeks. All right. Let us know if you need help. Again, kmhealthcoaching.org, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
All right. Bye.
Hey, it's Coach Monica here. Guess what? If you're fed up with feeling stuck in your battle with weight or food, I've got something just for you. Check out our free Facebook groups. Over at Food Addiction and Recovery, I'm over there waiting for you. We're going to walk this journey together. It's about getting real, sharing our stories, and lifting each other up. We're in this together every step of the way. And if you're curious about changing your life with keto, the Weight Loss Project is where you want to be. Coach Darcy is amazing. And together, we're not just talking about losing weight. We're talking about finding a happier, healthier you. So, what do you say? Are you ready to join us? The links are in the show notes below, and I'm telling you, this is more than an invite. It is the start of something great. We cannot wait to see you over there.